Welcome back to Sports World, and Cricket's World Cup heads into day 5 in just a few hours' time. But Australia, of course, won't play their opening match in the tournament until Friday against Kenya. Well, the Australians have spent the past week in Bombay to acclimatise to the conditions, if they can, and already there are injury concerns in the camp, with Craig McDermott suffering a calf injury, while several other players have the taste of stomach virus, the old Delhi belly. Jim Wilson is covering the World Cup for the 7 Network, and he's filed this report from Bombay on the week that was.
After 5 days in Calcutta, the Australians headed to the financial capital of India. Bombay is a thriving port on the west coast, where 40% of the 13 million people that live here reside in the slums.
Yes, 35 rupees.
And like all cities in India, food is a big part of the Bombay way of life. Every day this is the scene at the local market, as people search for the best bargain. The cost of living, though, has skyrocketed in recent years. But Bombay has been the perfect setting for Australia's build-up to the World Cup. They've spent most of the last week at this grand old establishment in the heart of Bombay. Outside the walls of the exclusive Gymkhana Club, the Brahman Bulls walk the street, but inside, it's definitely members only. In fact, there's a 50-year waiting list just to become a junior member at the Gymkhana, which was the venue for the first ever test match in India.
Bob, coming down from Calcutta, the reasoning behind coming to Bombay?
Most of all, we wanted to get good practice facilities. We wanted to be at a seaside area where it was going to be warmer. Calcutta was good and we got well looked after, but we really wanted to get into some tougher climates. Plus, we knew the Gymkhana here would just be absolutely ideal, which it has been. It's beautiful ground and lovely setup. Boys are just so thrilled to be back into a cricketing mode now.
The clubhouse is a gentle reminder of a period when the British ruled the land, the Australians soaking up the regal atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see the Colonel walk out any minute. Obviously the English have been here for a long time, and it's still a few of the old buildings here, but not bad training conditions, so we're happy to get down here.
And while our cricketers were able to play football and pound the gloves, the media was far from welcome. Cameramen and reporters, for that matter, have been banned from walking on this hallowed turf for half a century. It doesn't matter how much you question their decision, the Secretary has one standard answer: get off, and rules are rules.
It's a great spot, and it's pretty exclusive. I look at it, it's pretty hard to get in there, and as you guys know, it's hard to take footage or take a shot of the stand, so they're pretty protective of what they got, but it's very nice.
In recent days, the Australians have had their first experience of Bombay belly. Shane Warne and Ricky Ponting missed Friday's training, forced to stay in bed, while Steve Waugh, Mark Taylor and Glenn McGrath have also had stomach upsets.
It's the expected course of events. Usually the first week we all sort of suffer that, and any time during the 6 weeks we're here we can probably pick up a gut bug and get the aches and pains in the belly and feel a bit lethargic, but hopefully it's all out of the way in the first week.
Yeah, well, Errol Alcott's a bit of he's a guy that sort of guides us on those sort of things, and most of the players know what to do and what not to do, but I basically, if I find a good meal at lunchtime, I tend to stick to it for about a week and not eat anything else. I tend to play a bit safe, and I think most of the guys would do that sort of thing.
The only real injury worry, though, has been Craig McDermott, who limped off the training track on Friday, suffering from a calf injury. The Australians are hoping Billy will be right for Friday's opening match against Kenya. The Australians have made few trips outside the team hotel, but yesterday morning, Glenn McGrath set the alarm clock and made a special visit to a local temple. It's a far cry from what Glenn is used to back home, but for the narrow-minded quick, it was an experience of a lifetime.
You have to come over here and, I guess, have a look and learn about the ways people live over here and their cultures and I guess their religion to a certain extent as well. So it's been good to have a look around, see all the different gods and find out the different meanings and what have you there.
World Cup organisers were still hopeful right up until yesterday that the Australians may reverse their decision and play against Sri Lanka in Colombo. It didn't happen, and the media once again launched into the Australians, labelling them amongst other things as cheats. The Aussies, though, are concerned with the flack, especially after the discovery of a second truck bomb in Colombo earlier this week.
No, it doesn't surprise me. We've been painted a little bit as the bad guys, and you know, that's just part of it. We know why we didn't go to Sri Lanka, and we're happy with our decision, and we're just getting on with it. They're not letting us. They're continually bringing it up, but in our minds, we're over it, and we're looking forward to the first game. It's over with.
So as the sun sets on the first week of the 1996 World Cup, the Australians continue their preparation here in Bombay. I'll be travelling with the team on Monday across to the east coast of India for their first match against Kenya on Friday. And a reminder that tomorrow night on 7 Nightly News, a very special behind-the-scenes look at life on the tour, according to Australian Vice-Captain Ian Healy. The pictures are interesting, to say the very least. And Ford, I'm sure you'd like to know that I've actually had my first taste of Bombay belly. I've got loose motions from both ends, and I'm sure our guest in Launceston will be able to relate to my discomfort. For now, let's go back to you in Sydney.
Thank you, Jimmy, and I'm sure that our viewers will be enjoying their breakfast to hear that you're doing it tough. Well, David Boone is standing by at Launceston, and Booney, I thought there for a moment what a beautiful day it was at Launceston. I realised there was a photo behind you.
Yeah, it is, but actually outside it is very nice, mate.
But does it give you, is it hard to watch the boys go through their practice over there knowing that you're no longer part of the scene?
Oh, it is a little bit, but I was just watching with interest and totally agree with everything that the boys said there, about the flack they've been copping about Sri Lanka, and that their decision was the right one, and I believe that's the correct thing that they've done.
David, throughout the summer, the smiling faces of the Sri Lankans on the field belied what was going on the field. Was it a difficult series against them out here?
No, I don't think so. It's probably a very difficult question. I believe the test series throughout the summer was played in the normal manner that the Australian cricket team would, and I didn't see too much trouble out there. As for the one days, I didn't play in any of those, so can't really comment, but to me, it's a man's game, and that's the way it was played.
They obviously haven't got over some of the umpiring decisions, in particular Daryl Hare, but I noticed today in the Sydney press that Juna Ranatunga says, wait till they get across here and get a taste of what happens to the umpires on the subcontinent. You've experienced that before. Is that a frightening thought?
No, not really. It is a little difficult over there, but mainly due to the conditions and the weather and so on, which the boys in Bombay are getting used to now. But I just think I don't know, you can't really say, but are they whinging or whatever because they got beaten? I don't know.
David, after the tremendous performance of the West Indies, you did it in style this year in your home summer. The Australians have taken over the favourites tag, but Mark Taylor, speaking during the week, says that probably that's a crown they shouldn't be wearing. They think the judges have gauged that form on the Test match series and not particularly on the one-day level. He seems to think that sides like Sri Lanka, Pakistan and India really are the sides to beat on the subcontinent for this World Cup.
Yeah, I'd agree with Mark on that. I'd like to think that our blokes are the favourites, and I know that if they play to their full potential, they're very capable of winning. But with the format of the World Cup, and especially missing the game in Sri Lanka, they've got a difficult road ahead, but I'm sure they're capable of it. But as Mark said, I suppose India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka have a little bit of an advantage playing over there, and they're all very good one-day sides. But
yeah, but looking at the results so far, New Zealand and the West Indies have certainly started in a very confident manner. Curtly Ambrose and Brian Lara in superb form for the West Indies. And, of course, I suppose you cannot discount sides like South Africa as well, who have performed very well in one-day internationals in recent times.
No, you can't. They've got a very strong side. Obviously, they had an easy game the other day against the UAE, but, they can play very well. They've experienced the subcontinent before. So there's a lot of sides in there that could win.
David, plenty of people say that it's a time-consuming decision to contemplate a retirement. You've made that decision. You've had a couple of weeks now to reflect on it. How tough has the last couple of weeks been?
Oh, it's been reasonably tough. Actually, I've got more phone calls and faxes and that I've ever had in my life. So it was a bit overwhelming, really, but I'm just settling in now, and I've accepted my decision. I think I made the correct one, and we've just got to get on with life. Another part of that starts.
You did it via a players' meeting. Was that the toughest thing you've ever had to do?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. Actually told Simo and Ian McDonald, the manager, and Errol Alcott and Tubby Taylor prior to the team meeting. That was probably more difficult than actually telling the boys, but the stunned silence for about 30 seconds worried me. I didn't know what they were thinking.
They gave you a wonderful farewell, though.
Oh, it was great. The people all around Australia, and I suppose especially got to mention Adelaide, the people over there during that last test match that I played were absolutely unbelievable.
Well, you're now still playing with Tasmania, which is a bonus for them, and I suppose you looked to last year and saw the significant influence that Alan Border made on the Queensland Bulls strive to their first ever Sheffield Shield victory. No doubt that would be the crowning glory before you finally hang up the boots.
Oh, absolutely. I think I've got a couple of years left yet to play for Tasmania, and if we can push on and fulfil some potential that we've got down here, I'm quite positive about the fact that we can have a big influence on the Sheffield Shield, if not win it.
You look back to the vagaries of cricket. I remember when Ricky Ponting made his test debut, you were out to a screamer. He came out and got missed before he scored and went on to get 90, but now established himself as a wonderful player of the future, and that must give you great hope for the Tasmanian to go on.
Yeah, it does. Ricky's a fine player, and he can only get better, I think, with experience, and especially this very early experience on the subcontinent will do him all end of good, and he'll come back a better player. And I think as the years go by, you'll see Ricky Ponting in the Australian team for a long time.
Bernie, I know that there's great battles go on off the cricket field as far as you and Mark Taylor and War and Border, as far as the golf handicap is concerned. Now, you're a member of that wonderful course, the Launceston Club down there. How's the handicap going in retirement?
Not too bad. Haven't made a real effort at it yet, but I'm sure once the winter comes, might have a little bit more of a dash.
OK, well, it's terrific that you joined us today. Have you got a final word to the Australian sporting public for the farewell they gave you?
Again, I just can't say enough, but thank you, and it's been my pleasure to play for Australia for so many years, and the support that the Australian cricket team gets in Australia and wherever we go is magnificent.
Well, David, you deserve every accolade. We're sad that we don't no longer see David Boone in the Test arena, but let's hope that maybe you're the lucky yeoman for that Tasmanian side in years to come.
Thanks very much, David.
OK, David Boone joining us from Launceston, and certainly the end of one of the most magnificent careers as far as Australian cricket history is concerned. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment.